the citizen channel. You're all staying safe and well. Another episode of I Didn't Know That. And we're going to have a look at our match day 5 in the Champions League. Yeah, City against Feyenoord. Not the greatest result, although November wasn't the greatest month, was it? This was the 26th of November 2024. So we're going to check out any facts and oddities in the hard copy memory of the game, which is the programme. Yeah, don't buy the 50-50 scarf, just get your kids a programme. That's good enough for me. Of course, this is published now by Ignition Sports Media, so you can get subs for them. You can buy these programmes independently. You don't have to get a subscription, but a half-season subscription is available for £65 for the UK and Ireland. A full season is double that, £130. But this includes the Champions League as well, and they get sent out obviously independently, or of course with overseas subscribers you get a big bunch in December and the rest following May or June when the season finishes, depending what we're going for, of course. So yeah, just check that out, guys. Any problems with Ignition Sports or getting hold of them, just let me know. I can point you in the right direction. Right, so of course we're back to the bigger size, the £5 versions of the City programme for the Champions League. Not any more content in them, just bigger pages, bigger print, bigger pages. But there you go. We've talked about that in the past. A bit the mundane sort of cover, of course, when you have some good covers on the programme at the moment. But of course, just basically a picture of Savvy. He didn't play in this game, did he? I don't think. And Phil Foden, of course, who features heavily in the programme itself. Well, what's inside? What did you know or didn't you know, or you might have known and forgot all about it like me? Kevin De Bruyne, Return of the King, was a piece on him. He commented on feeling good for 5 games or so, but then didn't, and it was way worse than he wanted it to be. Back in training, there was only so much he could do. Yeah, he had a bit of a groin pain every time he took a shot or he did something, and it was not a nice feeling. It said it took a long time to get better, and he did sort of isolate Friday the 22nd of November when it felt a little bit better for him. Yes, we still need to get better, he says, and I'm doing everything to do that. Well, we need you back, Kevin, so you better hurry up, mate. Pep, of course, extended his contract between this programme and the last one. And so, yeah, we got some stats. So he got played 491. Pep's been in charge of City. We've won 353. Drawn 7. This is pre-Feyenoord, of course. Drawn 70. Lost 68. And we scored 1,200 goals and let in 415. That's not bad, is it? With a win percentage of 72%. And he's amassed a total of 18 trophies. He actually won 14 at Barca and 7 at Bayern. So he's doing all right for himself, isn't he? That make that 39 trophies. I won't say what the breakdown of that is. Rodri, of course, celebrated his Ballon d'Or in the match previously. That again didn't go so well, did it? But he was the first Spaniard to win it in 6 decades. Yes, Luis Suarez from Barcelona won it in 1960, and Alfredo Di Stefano won it whilst playing for Real Madrid twice in 1957 and 59. So he's actually the 3rd Spanish player to ever win it. Manchester Blues an interesting one. It checks out the address 255 or now 258 Wilmslow Road, Fallowfield. Yes, not far from where I was brought up. And a place I visited many times as a youngster, but I always found, and it was a shop, I always found the items a little bit expensive for my budget, and it was the location, of course, of Roy Clark's sports shop in those days. The ground floor was boots and kits, and upstairs Subbuteo trains and other toys. I must admit, I did enjoy probably upstairs more than the downstairs, only because of the cost, but I don't think I spent a lot of money in there. In later years, of course, it became a food and drink venue, and it's now a shisha lounge called Arabian Nights. Very original, and I bet it's still expensive as well. In conversation with Nathan Ake, just had a quick look at him. He made just 7 appearances in 5 years at Chelsea. Obviously spent a lot of that time on loan. He was at loan to Reading, of course, eventually Bournemouth, where he will be transferred. An interesting one, at just 9 or 10 years old, when he moved over to play for Feyenoord youth, or the youngsters at Feyenoord, he actually travelled alone on the train to Feyenoord from his home, and he didn't arrive home till late at night. I mean, it wasn't a 5-minute trip, this, it was quite a long journey. So just 9 or 10 years old. He did say he was comfortable at Feyenoord and doing okay, but yeah, he always liked to challenge, and that's why he went to Chelsea, although he didn't get much chance there, did he? Man of the match, as in MANN, Alistair Mann, of course, reflects on that night mentioned earlier where 17-year-old Phil Foden got his debut against Feyenoord. Or I might not have mentioned it, I will be mentioning it in a minute, of course. I mentioned it in my City 130 vlog, if you've checked that out, guys. With 15 minutes of the game remaining, we got to see Phil Foden in action. And that pre-season, of course, Phil had impressed in the US tour, including against United in that tour, if you remember. And his 15 minutes in this game against Feyenoord, he completed 18 of his 19 passes. And we did actually score while he was on the pitch, but he didn't have a direct involvement on that. Carried on the Phil Foden scene, Fernandinho sat alongside him that night on the subs bench. He also reflected on it. He said he never saw Phil nervous before a game. As for him, it was like playing with his mates on the street in Stockport. He also said the decisions he used to make were impressive. We knew he would be a special player in the future, said Fernandinho. Fernan also said Phil was always humble, accepting advice of his seniors at the club, the players, including himself and people like Vincent Kompany and anyone else on the coaching staff as well. So very humble, Phil. I think he has his moments, doesn't he? There's a Q&A with Dan Batty. Now, he's a midfielder in the under-18. Just a couple of interesting facts. You don't want to be messing with Dan because he got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 8. Right, perhaps it was with Nathan Aki on the train protecting him, I'm not too sure. But anyway, that's now. I got one in origami at a similar age, such nothing clever. A video game, yes, I have heard of it. Call of Duty, the Warzone version, is his go-to game at the moment. I think it's a bit like Jet Set Willy on the Spectrum, I believe, something like that. Anyway, about Feyenoord, what did we learn or didn't we know? Well, they were European Cup winners back in 69-70, of course, but this was the year we won the Cup Winners' Cup, so we were joint. They won the big one and we won the next one down, of course, but never mind. They beat Celtic in the final in the San Siro. And they've got two, UEFA Cups, and it's turned into the Europa League now, hasn't it? But the UEFA Cup win came over Spurs in 1973-74, and the Europa League winners in 2001-2002, beating Borussia Dortmund. Their manager at the moment is Brian Prisk. Of course, he took over from Mr. Slot, who's doing okay, I think. Danish international centre-back. He was the first foreign manager to lead Sparta Prague to a national title in 22-23 season. And as a player, he spent one season in England under Harry Redknapp at Portsmouth. Top 5 greatest of all time for Feyenoord. Wim Jansen, he made 517 appearances between 1965 and 80, scored 53 goals, and he made most of his appearances during their golden period where they won the 2 European trophies and 4 league titles. Wim van Hanegem, his 237 appearances, 76 goals between 1968 and 76. He was there for those 2 Euro titles, the UEFA Cup and the European Cup. He was also part of the Dutch World Cup runners-up team in 1974, and I think Feyenoord produced sort of 4 or 5 players for that team. John Dahl Thomason, 152 appearances, 70 goals. He was match winner in the Europa League final and named man of the match. And he's the current manager of Sweden. So yes, that was against the Dortmund game, of course. Dirk Kuyt made 199 appearances, 121 goals. It was his time at Feyenoord that sealed a move to Liverpool, of course, where we probably know him more from. And he returned to spearhead Feyenoord's title triumph back in 2016-17. Ruud Gullit, 104 appearances, 41 goals, a league and cup double in 83-84, alongside a certain Johan Cruyff, obviously better known for playing for Ajax, but he had one season at Feyenoord as well. What about City and Feyenoord? Well, Paul Bosvelt was at the game. We didn't get introduced to him, I don't think, on the pitch or anything, did we? So didn't make a big fuss. But he was back at the Etihad. He made 65 appearances under Keegan and Stuart Pearce, managing a couple of goals. And he captained Feyenoord to UEFA Cup glory a year earlier, a year before joining us. In our last meeting, a 1-0 late. That was a Dortmund game, of course. In our last meet, so it's Europa League rather than UEFA Cup. In our last meeting, a 1-0 late City win at the Etihad on the 21st of November 2017 in the Champions League. Yes, this is where I got mixed up early on. A certain Phil Foden made his City debut, replacing Yaya Toure. 60 degrees of separation. Well, we start with Nathan Ake. He came through the youth system at Den Haag. There the same time, I say he was there the same time as El Gero Elia, who spent 2 seasons at Feyenoord in 2010, played in the World Cup alongside Nigel de Jong. He was the first Netherlands midfielder to sign for City since Paul Bosvelt. He played in the Europa League victory against Dortmund in 2002 alongside Pierre van Hooijdonk, who led the line for Feyenoord, holds the Dutch league record for scoring in 11 consecutive games, not for Feyenoord, for NAC Breda in 93-94. And Feyenoord's best effort for goals in games on the bounce came from Santi Gimenez. Yes, we know him, don't we, from the other night, who scored scored in 8 games on the bounce in their 22-23 title win. One moment in time, Gary James looks at our 1994 friendly meeting at Main Road, the one I covered in my little City 130. New chairman Fran Ali had brought over the Dutch for a pre-season friendly on the 13th of August 1994. With no Kippax due to reconstruction, the ground held around 19,000, and the crowd that day, including me and a couple of my sprogs, was 10,000. Turned up to see Brian Horton's City take a 2-goal lead, but eventually lose 4-2. One of the highlights was that a fan got on the pitch and ran down the wing asking for the ball. Apparently Nicky Summerby admitted to almost passing to him. Someone apparently had said to Gary James in the stand if it had been his dad he would have passed it. Probably. Simon Curtis, Collective Histories. He goes back to the 70s, November 70 specifically, when City were the Cup Winners' Cup holders, of course, and Feyenoord were the European Cup holders. And on a November night, Feyenoord achieved what took City another 53 years to achieve when they became World Club Champions after winning the European Cup or Champions League ourselves. Feyenoord beat Estudiantes over 2 legs, so of course they did that, and we followed them 53 years later. They were the first Dutch side to win the World Club Cup. There were strong comparisons at the time between their Dutch coach Happel and our own Malcolm Allison, who both adapted concepts of continental football to benefit our respective clubs. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this. I didn't know that. Have you learnt anything, or you've jogged your memory about anything? Were you there at that Feyenoord game back in '94? Interesting. I think the weather was nice from memory, but I don't know. At least my programme wasn't all wet and soggy, so that's always a good guide. So let me know any members you've got, guys. I hope we brought a few back for you. And please, if you like what I try and do, and you're not already subscribed, please press that subscribe button, press the bell notifications, everything City past, present, as long as I can keep going. It's like a magazine vlog, if you like. Try lots of different things, and hopefully you'll find something of interest, if not everything of interest to you if you're a City fan. And if you do check through the channel, you'll see stuff on another passion of mine, film and TV. So if that's of any interest at all, have a look at that. Or if you know someone who might be, give them a kick in my direction. And I'm always after you guys to help the channel out, sponsoring, memberships, etc. So if you can help me out in the future, please stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed the feature, and if you can support me through the subscription, if you can subscribe, guys, that'd be wonderful if you've not already done so. We do actually have memberships at the moment, just 99p a month, so you get access to all my City stuff, including all the history vlogs, dozens and dozens not been published yet that you get immediate access to, and every time I do a edit and do a vlog, you get immediate access to it as well. So you can have a copy of scripts as well if you want any hard copy of the sort of things I do on matches and teams and managers and players, etc, etc. So if you can join the membership, that'd be wonderful. We do have sponsors at the moment. Piat 6505 are our current sponsor. They have a little eBay shop, so if you check in the comments section, there's a link there to the shop. They sell movie posters from the 90s and 2000s. They sell DVDs, some classic Hollywood movies, some classic foreign language ones. And if you do see anything you fancy on there, if you do place an order, just mention me, just say Bernard sent you, and you automatically get 10% reduction in the cost of your order. So fill your boots, guys, and my thanks to P6505. And yeah, if you want to support the channel just by watching the ads, that helps. Watch the ads, let them play through while you just have to check your phone or something, let it play out. And of course, if you follow any of the links, that always works as well. If you follow a link to one of the ads and you fancy something, I've done it myself. I've followed a link and actually purchased something from another organisation. But it can happen. It can happen. Not all ads are stuff you're not interested in. And of course, you can give us a like, guys. That would be absolutely fantastic. All likes are much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until the next time, of course, I only ever ask one thing, don't I? Please, I ask you all to stay safe, especially you Blues. Until the next time, come on, City. Bye for now.